Well, what happened here? All the fear about the trade war kicking off on Friday. Today, a pretty strong move to the upside for these Asian equities here. Will we continue to see this move higher?
I think there's been a sense of relief in markets this morning that over the weekend we didn't see any more incendiary tweets coming from President Trump. When we look at the scope of the tariffs being put in place, I think the focus is now, the dawn is coming about, that they're not maybe as significant as what was originally anticipated in terms of their scale of the overall trade between China and the US.
But we're also getting a message that this may not be over. I mean, the U.S. has said over and over again they are prepared to up the ante, and then we expect China to respond. So what should we be watching out for in terms of escalation here and what that knock-on effect would be to markets?
Well, I think President Trump has clearly laid out, where the escalation will lie, and that is the entire gambit of trade between the U.S. and China. So he's made it quite clear that they'll potentially put tariffs on all the imports that come from China into the U.S. I think that's quite an extreme position, and it's telling that the Europeans, in terms of the auto area, already coming to the negotiating table, talking about the lower tariffs. So I think there has been some positive effects from the American standpoint about this hard line. But I think going forward, if we look at the markets, we've seen the dollar begin to weaken over the past number of days. So I think people maybe feel we're at a short term, or we've seen peak rhetoric in the short term. This will flare up again, but for now, maybe we've seen peak rhetoric.
And as it pertains to the Europeans, some very strong comments coming from the French finance minister this weekend about their readiness to fight the Trump stance on trade as well. At the same time, we were just talking about Li Keqiang in Europe. Do you think we could find ourselves in a situation where the investment terms, the trade terms for European companies operating in China become more favorable and then potentially put some of the U.S. corporates at a disadvantage if these two countries come closer together? I
think that is one potential outcome, but I think ultimately what we will see is that China will try and force the Americans to reach a more palatable agreement, and will hand out the olive branch of whatever deal they arrive with the Europeans that will also be offered to the Americans. Ultimately, I don't think we'll see the fragmentation of global trading rules, at least in the long term, but initially maybe the Europeans get a boost.
Just quickly, Clive, before we go to break here, the stabilization we're seeing in the yuan, do you think that's giving some investors reassurance today?
Definitely. I mean, we've seen the yuan dip about 5% over the past 4 weeks. Over the past couple of trading sessions, has stabilized. I think that's a very important positive signal.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.